The new prison project to be built using citizenship by investment proceeds by a Chinese-owned company is getting attention after leader of the People's Action Movement, PAM, Sean Richards, showed up this week at the construction site as seen in this video, to the chagrin of Heston Ham, owner of block manufacturing company Stone Deals.
But let us ask some questions. Why would a prison cost almost $2 billion? The project has been approved through the sale of 5,000 passports at a cost of approximately $175,000 per passport. That equals to $875 million. If you do the mathematics, you would realize that is approximately $2.4 billion. Why do we need a prison costing $2.4 billion in secret? Am I a threat to him? I'm a citizen of this country. I am an elected representative of this country. Here on the site, bringing to the attention of the people the construction of this prison through the sale of 5,000 passports at a cost of $175,000 per passport, when the country has more pressing and genuine concerns.
The video has been making the rounds on social media and has prompted a response from Mr. Ham, who issued this statement.
Stone Deals is a family-owned business that was built from ground zero. I am disappointed in this incident and the irresponsibility of the candidate of constituency number 5, Mr. Sean Richards. An attempt to score cheap political points at the expense of a law-abiding citizen will not go unresponded. This incident has altered my view on the direction of our country is heading. Today, I am standing up. This incident involved Mr. Sean Richard will be referred to my attorney for advice. I will defend the name of my family and protect my employees who I care for daily.
Social activist Dwyer Astafan, who was very vocal about this project long before the latest development, called on political parties during this election campaign to aggressively oppose the project.
I'm happy to hear that Mr. Sean Richards, the leader of PAM, has reversed his party's position with regard to the Harris jail that is being constructed, just begun. So now with Labour, PAM and presumably CCM against that project, I expect that as soon as the election is over, the new administration, regardless of its composition, will halt the project and review everything.
He said the project would significantly benefit the construction company more than it would the country.
Any government project which uses citizenship by investment money should have the money coming into the government treasury, and the project must be conducted by the government, not by a private company, worse so, a foreign company. In this case, the citizenship applications are being made to a Chinese-owned company, and the money, as much as $875 million will go to the Chinese company, not to the government. The government will get about $100 million out of it. But at the end of the process, it is projected that the Chinese-owned company will pocket $600 million.
The government had announced plans to build a prison in the Estridge area some 5 years ago, but no major announcement has since been made about the details of the project. In 2017, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Dr. Timothy Harris said the new prison will relieve the current overcrowding at Her Majesty's Prison, which was built in the year 1840 and designed to accommodate 60 inmates. Recent pronouncements have the prison population at over 180 inmates. Given these circumstances, some have argued the need for a new prison, but others, like Mr. Astafan, continue to raise questions about the transparency of the project's financing. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. The St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party will be hosting a protest march dubbed Freedom March this Friday from 4:30 p.m. In a press conference on Wednesday at the Kuna Conference Centre in Fortlands, leader of the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party, Dr. Terence Drew, said that the protest will be a peaceful one against the leadership of Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris.
we are inviting all citizens, all patriots, to join us in a freedom march on Friday, June 24th, 2022. The march will take place from 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. We will congregate at the Greenlands pasture. Join us in protest against the dictatorial actions of a rogue, failed Prime Minister. Join us as we demand that the Prime Minister stop holding up the entire country because he cannot get his party ready for a general election. We ask that the date of the election be set, and we ask for Pharaoh to let our people go.
The party leader focused on several issues at the Wednesday's press conference, including a call for travel and health restrictions to be lifted, making it easier for citizens to return home.
82.8% of the adult population is vaccinated, as reported. On March 1st, 2022, the chief medical officer declared that there is a high threshold of population immunity that has been built up to buffer against even the most highly contagious variants of COVID-19 virus as seen with Omicron variant experience. Antiviral and therapeutic medications are tools, and tools are now freely sold retail on the global market. These facts and stats point to the fact that St. Kitts and Nevis is now in a position to learn how to live with COVID-19 and put an end to government regulations, especially as far as traveling home is concerned. There's mounting evidence that the travel approval process is being used to delay and/or prevent certain citizens who have been screened and are perceived as non-supporting the Prime Minister's political party from traveling to St. Kitts and Nevis. This is an affront to true democracy.
Dr. Drew said no citizen should have to apply to return home.
Dr. Harris and his cabinet of 3 elected members will not be allowed to use administrative means to prevent and deny citizens of their democratic right to vote. At this late point in the game, no born national or citizen by other means of St. Kitts and Nevis should have to apply to return to the land of their birth.
With elections looming, Dr. Drew argued that keeping the travel restrictions in place is seen as a way of impeding overseas voters. Overseas-based voters were not given a chance to participate in the June 2020 elections due to the closure of the airport emanating from the COVID-19 pandemic. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. When you're looking to sell, buy, rent, or manage a property, your answer has to be Diamond Real Estate and Management St. Kitts, Dreams. They provide oversight of real estate and physical property in St. Kitts and Nevis, perform regular maintenance, utility payments, and safety checks to ensure your property is well kept. Dreams manages and optimizes your rental listing, recruits tenants, and much more. Looking to sell that parcel of land or property, or dreaming of owning your own? Trust Dreams under the leadership and experience of its CEO, Velma Merchant. Many can attest to her professionalism and customer service. Diamond Real Estate Management St. Kitts. Call 663-7326 or visit their office at 15 Shadwell Industrial Estate, making your real estate dreams come true.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
When visiting St. Martin, you want clean, affordable accommodations. You need Midtown Motel in the heart of Phillipsburg, a place where you can relax, take a stroll on Great Bay Beach, and that provides you easy access to great shopping. Midtown Motel, located on Front Street, Phillipsburg, St. Martin. Call Midtown Motel at 721-542-0614 and book your stay today. Come get your fresh smoothie at Master Mix Smoothie in Bastyr at 2 locations, the Bastyr Public Market or under the arch at the National Museum. Get a fresh, all-natural, healthy and tasty smoothie with flavors of your choice. Master Mix Smoothie knows the flavors that you like and mixes it all up for you the way you want it. Master Mix Smoothie, 2 locations, the Bastyr Public Market or under the arch at the National Museum. Master Mix Smoothie, always the real thing, always smoothie.
Nestled between evergreen mountains and the Caribbean Sea on the island of St. Kitts is the Millhouse Guest House and Convention Center. With breathtaking views, a rugged, beautiful shoreline, and immaculate manicured gardens make this the perfect location for your holiday, event, or wedding. With a large convention center, apartments with balconies providing stunning views, and a secluded cottage for larger family groups or honeymooning couples looking for some privacy. We have something for everyone. Book your stay at www.millhouseskn.com or visit our Facebook page, the Millhouse Guest House and Convention Center, an oasis of tranquility.
With general elections looming, Premier Mark Brantley said if it wasn't for CCM, the overseas voters could have been disenfranchised. According to Premier Brantley, the leader of CCM, an attempt was made by Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris to prevent overseas voters from participating in future elections. Brantley said he was prepared to leave the cabinet if that course of action was pursued. At a public meeting, Brantley commented on the PLP's invitation to the overseas voters now to come home and vote.
You know, I reflected last night that they know he and his team are appealing to voters overseas. Kittitians and divisions living overseas, he's telling them to prepare to come home to vote. And I said, thank God for this concerned citizens movement. Because I remember it was in the cabinet when he wanted to disenfranchise the overseas voters. He wanted to make sure that they could not vote in an election in this country. The reason was, according to them, that the overseas vote favors Douglas. And I stood up and I told them that I was prepared to leave the cabinet before I disenfranchise our brothers and sisters. I told them that because the reason why they wanted to disenfranchise Kittitians and divisions living in the diaspora had nothing to do with good governance, had nothing to do with improving the political and the electoral system. It had everything to do with the fact that they felt that the support overseas was not for him and his party. And so I'm happy that we are going to have an election, and I'm happy that our brothers and sisters overseas will be coming to vote.
Brantley told the audience that the date for general elections will be called soon and overseas voters should prepare to vote on Nevis. Glenn Barrett reporting for SK Newsline.
Census enumerators on Nevis are encountering challenges in getting the cooperation of the public. Doriel Tross-Phillip, director of the Nevis Department of Statistics, is advising that under the St. Kitts and Nevis Statistics Act, persons failing to comply with enumerators could be penalized.
There are some who outrightly refuse to do the census, and under the St. Christopher and Nevis Statistics Act, revised in 2002, it states that any person found guilty of an offense against this act or any regulation made under, therefore, for which no special punishment is provided, shall be liable on a summary of a conviction to a fine not exceeding $1,000 or 6 months imprisonment. We do not want to have to take any of our citizens or residents to court to get the information for the census. So we are encouraging the general public, our citizens and residents, to cooperate with us at the Department of Statistics in answering the general questions for the census. If you have a problem with any of our enumerators, or if you are not comfortable with any of our enumerators, feel free to come to our department upstairs, Valumat, and one of our staff will complete the census questionnaire right in our office with you, Or if you prefer, you can call us, and if you so willing to do it via the telephone, we also can accommodate you for that.
She explained some of the challenges the enumerators encounter in collecting data.
The enumeration in the field commenced on April 15th as we try to enumerate the whole populace of Nevis. We have met with some resistance from some persons who refuse to cooperate and give the necessary information. There are those who our enumerators would have made appointments with, and when our enumerator shows up, they are still unavailable, and so our enumerators have to make various visits. We are asking that you please cooperate and give us your full support. Some of it is political, but we want to ensure the general public that collecting the data for census is not political, and it is pertinent information that is necessary for the economic development of Nevis. The information is confidential. When the data gets to us, names are removed. We're just dealing with data so that we can assist the government in making the decisions that are necessary to for us to move forward and for our social projects to be completed and to be done in the areas in which they are really needed.
The census is to gather information about the general population to present a full and reliable picture of the population in the country, its housing conditions and demographic, and social and economic characteristics. The information collected includes data on age, gender, country of origin, year of immigration, marital status, housing conditions, marriage, number of children, education, employment, and travel habits. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline. If you're looking for a place to host that special event, conference, meeting, social event, party, whatever the occasion, your best option is the Millhouse Convention Center in Palmetto Point, St. Kitts. Located on the picturesque Garvey's Estate, the Millhouse Guesthouse Convention Center has enough space for outdoor events overlooking the Caribbean Sea. If you're looking indoors, the center is equipped with amenities needed to make your event a success. And by combining both spaces, you're sure to have a memorable event, no matter the occasion. Call the offices at Millhouse Guesthouse and Convention Center to book your next event on simply the most beautiful place in St. Kitts. Call 668-1392. Millhouse Convention Center at Garvey's Estate, Palmetto Point, St. Kitts. Making your event memorable. It's the new and improved SKN Newsline Android mobile app. With the SKN Newsline app, you can watch your news reports, the SKN Newsline Newscast, sports, special features, and so much more. You can also send us a WhatsApp or call us directly. Go in the Google Play Store, search SKN Newsline, and download the app today. The SKN Newsline mobile app. News on the go.
An open interactive event can be described as
tremendous, effective,
on par with any conference around the world.
From exhibitions to trade shows, corporate events to product launches, from press events to political functions. We are the secret sauce behind events that make you go, wow. We've staged multiple world-class events in the Caribbean and developed the skill to deliver quality in every detail, whether the event is live or fully virtual, or maybe even somewhere in between. At Open Interactive, we got your events covered. Get your free quotation today at www.madebyopen.com.
Officials from the International Monetary Fund have just wrapped up an historic visit to the island. The team, led by Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva, who was on her first visit to the island, submitted its staff report coming out of the 7th review under the Extended Fund Facility Arrangement. In it, the fund is predicting gradual economic recovery over the medium term. In fact, it says that recovery could come in the form of 11% economic growth this year, supported by tourism. The IMF says visitor arrivals are expected to recover to about 60% of pre-pandemic levels in 2022 and return to pre-pandemic levels in 2024. Additionally, it says structural reforms and strategic public investment are expected to return growth to its medium-term average of about 2%. The IMF has warned, however, risks to the outlook remain high, with a further lengthening of the pandemic being the key risk. The fund further noted an intensification of the war in Ukraine could further increase global commodity prices and add to inflationary pressures. The document went on to note further appreciation of the US dollar, to which the local dollar is pegged, could dent Barbados's tourism competitiveness. Additionally, it said repeated natural disasters aggravated by climate change could also have a dampening impact on economic activity. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
With the state of public emergency slated to be lifted in less than 2 weeks, concerns are brewing among business operators as they air their favorability for the intervention plan. President of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, Dennis Robotham, tells CVM Live the imposition of the SOE was timely and undoubtedly relevant. He says it brings a sense of security to the business and the consumers and is therefore recommending it be extended.
14 days is definitely a short time for this kind of violence, and whatever is happening here is going to alleviate much at this point in time. The security forces are working assiduously at this time to make inroads, but I think it is going to take a much longer time.
However, he says he understands that the SOE is a short-term solution. Subsequently, he's urging for there to be more long-term strategies to quell crime and, by extension, improve business.
And what we would like to see is a more medium and long-term measure dealing with dismantling the gangs, getting more technology on the ground, infiltrating the system that is on the ground there in these gangs.
Similarly,
business owners in Spanish Town, St. Catherine are not looking forward to the state of public emergency being lifted. They say the SOE is simply better for business.
And then there, man, and more people turn out for real. You see, when they're not there, people are scared. Tell the truth, see me. So people in life, you see them, no matter what the circumstances, you see me. I don't know a lot of that, you see me.
The old capital was under siege for a sustained period, with several cases of shooting and murder. The SOE is expected to end July 1. Veronique Bowen for CVM Live.
Dramatic testimony yesterday with top Republican officials detailing how they resisted pressure from Donald Trump to overturn the election. One told the former president, "I will not break my oath." Chief Washington correspondent John Carl has the highlights. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. In dramatic fashion, the January 6th committee showed the enormous lengths to which Donald Trump went to pressure state and local officials to overturn the election results in their states, and the way he and his allies turned their lives upside down when they refused to go along with his demands. Rusty Bowers is Arizona's Republican Speaker of the House. He had been a strong Donald Trump supporter, but he told the January 6th committee that after the election, Trump had demanded he do something that was both immoral and illegal.
I said, look, you are asking me to do something that is counter to my oath when I swore to the Constitution to uphold it. You are asking me to do something against my oath, and I will not break my oath.
In a series of calls after the election, Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and others demanded Bowers throw out the electoral votes won by Joe Biden and replace them with a bogus slate of Trump electors. Giuliani asking him to put party first.
He would say, aren't we all Republicans here? I would think we would get a better reception.
Bowers kept asking for evidence of vote fraud, something Giuliani promised but never delivered.
He said, we've got lots of theories, we just don't have the evidence. No one provided me ever such evidence.
As Trump and his allies went public with their pressure campaign, Bowers' office was bombarded with thousands of threatening messages.
The committee sharing this never-before-seen video of protesters refusing to leave the Arizona State House, including the January 6 protester known as the QAnon Shaman. And like Bowers, many state lawmakers and election officials in the contested states were harassed at home. The committee presented new video showing how explicit those threats were.
The punishment for treason is death.
The committee also called an election worker from Georgia, Shay Moss, who, along with her mother, Ruby Freeman, was falsely accused of election tampering by Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani.
Of Ruby Freeman and Shay Freeman Moss and one other gentleman, quite obviously, surreptitiously passing around USB ports as if they're vials of heroin or cocaine.
In one of the videos we just watched, Mr. Giuliani accused you and your mother of passing some sort of USB drive to each other. What was your mom actually handing you on that video?
A ginger mint.
The accusations were bogus, but they triggered an avalanche of threats from Trump supporters.
A lot of threats. Wishing death upon me, telling me that, I'll be in jail with my mother, and saying things like, be glad it's 2020 and not 1920.
Moss's mother, Ruby, sat behind her at the hearing. Donald Trump attacked her by name 18 times in a single phone call with Georgia's top election official. In videotaped testimony, Freeman describes the toll that took on her life.
There is nowhere I feel safe. Nowhere.
The committee also heard from state officials in Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Michigan in taped and live testimony. All of them Republicans, and all, George, people who faced intense pressure from Donald Trump and his allies to use their position to overturn Trump's election loss to Joe Biden.
There's something of a lonely group inside the Republican Party right now. More and more candidates out on the stump this year are backing former President Trump's election lies.
Yes, George. In fact, an analysis by 538 of all the Republican primaries so far this year shows that in statewide elections and in races for Congress, 52% raised doubts about the election, 37% outright deny the 2020 election results. So still very much central to the Republican rank and file.
Just astonishing. John Carl, thanks very much.
Saturday night saw victories for Hobson Enterprises, Garden Hotspurs and Flow 4GK Rockets in the SKNFA Premier League. In the first of the weekend's doubleheader at the Warner Park, Spurs edged Trafalgar South Stars 2-1. For much of the match, South Stars seemed headed for their first victory in months when they led from a Ronald Nisbet strike in the 37th minute, their first goal since the restart of the Premier League last month. But a penalty from Steve Archibald in the 64th minute and DeAndre Challenger in the 85th minute sealed a late win for Spurs. Spurs coach Austin Deco Huggins commented on the outcome and said his players needed to come out with a sense of urgency from the start of the match.
Well, I think it's more mentally than anything else. Whenever we find ourselves in these situations, we always tend to lower our standards. But I don't think that this is good at all. We need to get hold of that and take every game serious and get out and get the job done.
In the night's other match, Keon drubbed TGE Deer Bay Eagles 6-0. Xavier Weeks scored in the 9th minute, Denilson Thomas in the 19th minute, Malik Hendrickson in the 1st minute of stoppage time from the first half, Joel Jeffers in the 54th minute, and 2 goals from Raheem Davis in the 82nd and 3rd minute of stoppage time gave Keon the victory.
Welcome to the SKN Newsline Weather Report. I am Janil Boole. Here is a look at the forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. a more detailed weather report, visit our website at www.sknnewsline.com.